All right, we're going to be joined by Miss Bridget Martin, the new McNeese Athletic Director here in Lake Charles. Miss Bridget, how are you doing today? Thanks for taking some time with us.
I'm doing great. Chasten had a great day yesterday. Won a baseball game, won a softball game. Always good to beat your in-state opponents. So feeling really good this morning.
Let's talk about the last couple of weeks because it's been a little bit of a whirlwind. Obviously, he's Schroyer, he departs. You're named the interim, then the interim is taken off. Talk to us about how the last few weeks have been for you.
Well, they've been very busy and a little chaotic and hectic, as to be expected. Change, while I can imagine for me it was hectic, I think the department stayed somewhat stable. People still in place. We're still hosting events, competing for championships. Just a change in the leadership. So obviously, press conferences were multiple and opportunities to get in front of people, interviews, radio shows, etc. Those are things that are a little outside of my comfort zone in my previous role. So it's been a little different, but very good, and I feel very confident that what's happening here in McNeese Athletics continues to be championship quality, and for that I'm very optimistic.
It's kind of like Super Bowl week for you. You're on Radio Row. You're on the media tour right now.
Yeah, it was very exciting but overwhelming at times. All very positive, and then I think McNeese Athletics gets showcased, and there's more talk about McNeese Athletics, and that always matters. We want to be relevant. We want to be in discussion, and so hopefully we're going to continue to do that. I think we're lined up a great staff to do that.
Let's talk about you for a little bit before we get into McNeese. Coach to administrator, now athletic director. Did you ever think this would maybe be a possibility for you?
I never looked for it. No, I really enjoyed a role of serving as a leader, but supporting the athletics director in the student athlete centric piece, the student athlete well being, health and wellness, strength and conditioning, assisting coaches, being involved in hiring coaches, but never so much the public facing part of the department wasn't something that I particularly thought was in my skill set or something I was looking for. But finding the opportunity today with a department that's very healthy, very strong, talented people, great coaches, it appeared as though this could be the right time to step in and embrace this. And while a little uncomfortable, I do realize that there are people around me that believe that we can make this thing as good or better than it has been, and to me that matters. McNeese being good is what matters.
You're the first woman AD at McNeese. I think you're only one of the very few ever in the Southland Conference. What does that mean to be the first woman athletic director at McNeese?
Apparently, that's newsworthy. I wasn't thinking in a manner of gender. I was thinking of the job and being able to do the job, what the job entails. It has really changed greatly over the course of my time working in athletics administration, but I do realize that I have benefited from several mentors, people that I've learned from. I've been around a long time and have listened to and observed people that were great leaders, different strengths and how they played to them. And for that, I think that I'm encouraged to carry the torch and be the woman in the room. And I look forward to working with the guys at the Southland. They are first class, great professionals, and I think that I can learn and we can learn from each other. So I look forward to that.
Kind of piggybacking off that, what kind of message do you hope that you being AD, the first woman AD at McNeese, kind of sends to maybe young women that are out there?
I think they're encouraged. I think they see it as breaking a barrier, and to that, I think it's great. It gives them, I guess, hope and drive to excel, and the realization that it's possible. To that end, I would want to celebrate that yeah, if you work long enough and and in my recounting how this came about, I just show up and work and learn and try and do the best job I can at what's in front of me. Hopefully, young aspiring administrators will recognize that too. The most important thing is to do a job and to do a job well, and to continue to grow and learn. And to that end, where you end up will depend on what kind of job you've done and how you've positioned yourself to be in line for opportunities like this.
Take us through how the last couple of weeks kind of went down. It's been chaotic. I mean, you go from taking over as the interim, press conferences, but also in the meantime, you're having to hire a women's basketball coach. You've done that with Coach Ashton Feldhouse. Take us through the process of the last couple of weeks.
Well, I I guess being named the AD on a Friday, losing a basketball coach officially, I kind of knew on Saturday, but Sunday, and then having a candidate on campus Monday, that was very intense. But obviously, Heath and I had been in conversations for several months about the potential for Ayla to have opportunities. We knew she would. We didn't know if they would be the right opportunities, and she would move from McNeese. But there was a short list, and what happened is when the dominoes start falling, some of those people on that list were getting jobs elsewhere. So the crunch time hit, and where we end up with people available on the list we were vetting, we had to move fast. And very exciting that that Ayla left this job in such a great position that aspiring coaches saw the opportunity that this could be a great professional move, and Ashton being one of them. She recognized this is a wonderful next step for her, and it lined up. Really feel like the energy, the motivation, the recruiting skill set is very good for our women's program, and that she can be very successful here.
Talk to us a little bit more about Ashton Feldhouse. You know, you went through the interview process with her. You've seen her now work over the last week or so, trying to retain players and get girls out of the transfer portal. What have you seen from her? Maybe what drew you to her?
Well, she's hungry, she's energized, and she's undaunted. A lot of coaches would be concerned about roster losses. The portal opening and who's available and how quickly you have to move. I think she's in a situation professionally where this is the norm. This is all she knows. And now she feels like she has more resources to be able to get players out of the portal and attract a better player. And to that, she's very confident. And I think she looks at it as a great experience versus, oh my God, I have to go get 10 players. She sees it as great. I can build this team piece by piece, and I know which pieces I need to get first. And once I get those, I'm going to fill in. She's got a method to this madness, and to that, I'm very confident that she's going to put together a great roster.
It feels like that's kind of what you need in this era of college athletics, is somebody who's, you know, not reactive, but, you know, proactive and ready to get out there. It feels like she kind of fits that bill for you.
She does. Came very highly recommended, having visited with several coaches and ADs that she had worked with, and they immediately talked about her confidence and her knowledge of the game. She grew up in a coaching household, connects with coaches, wants to learn, is constantly learning, and is extremely aggressive and competitive. So, and I do believe looks for this to be an opportunity for her to build her resume, which in our mind, if you're getting better and producing winners, you will have opportunities to get jobs at bigger schools. But at the same time, you leave us better than you found us, and that makes the opportunity to attract great coaches important. It helps us, again, find the next coach.
Let's expand on that a little bit, because, you know, everybody views it at the mid-major level as, you know, fans will say, oh, We're losing coaches. They're only here for a year. They're only here for 2 years. But at your level, at this part, in this day of college athletics, that's a good thing to be a stepping stone program for somebody else because you're consistently winning. That means you are winning.
That is correct. No different than the players that are on your roster and do really big things and then enter the portal to try to get to a big. It's the same scenario, I think, for coaches and players. I believe that everyone's trying to improve their situation and get to a bigger school. Now, obviously, we would love to keep coaches and keep players that recognize this is a great fit for them. But we do want them to think larger than McNeese, larger than Southland. Obviously, those coaches will deliver in a major way for our institution.
All right, so you've been in this business for nearly 40 years. How has the job changed? I know the easy answer is probably NIL and transfer portal, but how has the job changed over your time?
The speed and the fact that things are changing constantly and there's no reason to be patient. I think the NCAA, the speed at which change happens with the NCAA, and we learn about emergency legislation or waivers or situations in which the landscape changes dramatically. Initially, coming into working in college athletics, there was a slow cycle, very slow. Rules were introduced and you sat on it for a year or two, discussed it before it was voted on. So nothing moved very fast. But in today's college landscape, things are moving extremely fast, and you have to be, I guess, nimble and ready and be willing to look at what works for your institution, for your programs, and try to position yourself with change to meet those opportunities. That's what I see it as, a window, and the window is open now for lots of player movement, for us to build great rosters. The buy-in on NIL matters. So if we want to work within that window, we've got to be ready to move. And I think that Heath established a great structure, and Kiefer Ackley has done great in managing NIL. So the time is now. We got to continue to look to grow and to improve, and if we do that, then I think we'll continue to find success.
What are some of the things that, people may not realize that goes on or, goes into running an athletic department? Everybody can sit back and say, "Oh, well, I think they should do this, they should do that." What are some things that maybe people don't realize about running an athletic department?
There are a lot of pieces to the department, and thankfully we've got great people in director positions that can manage those. We've got sports medicine constantly, and team physicians that play a big role, mental health specialists, strength and conditioning there, and then the academic support, student athlete services. There's one direct relation to our student athlete experience. Then we've got the marketing, and we've got ticketing, we've got social media that actually continue to be forward facing and trying to get news and great content out to people that follow our teams. In addition to that, we have the logistics of game operations, and looking at a calendar. I charted the other day opportunities to experience either games on McNeese's campus, home games, or outside events that are related to athletics. 150 plus opportunities and events that have to be run. So it's a very, very large operation. And then there's the corporate sponsorship piece that's in-house, and Matt Fontenot has taken over that role, where you're out trying to, again, gain more resources for our department, for our coaches through contracts with corporations. Obviously, we now will have opportunities for logos on uniforms and logos on fields. So the opportunity to monetize the athletics world in order to deliver more to our coaches and to our student athletes is a big, big part of staying relevant. And so to that end, there are a lot of things that go into a department, and having great leaders to direct those operations, critical for success.
Let's talk about basketball a little bit. I know we hit on the new basketball coach in Ashton Feldhouse a little bit ago, but you guys have had so much success over the last couple of years in men's and now in women's basketball. What have you seen from that program and the success, and how does that kind of resonate, in the athletic department with funding and community support and so on that you guys have seen?
Well, there's no substitute for winning. Everybody loves a winner. Everybody gets on board. Obviously, the opportunity to go to postseason, March Madness is a tremendous event, and it drives a lot of interest and involvement and buy-in if you're in the big dance. So, obviously, three opportunities for men's basketball to get into that dance and to do something, win a game a year ago, was huge, and I think that gave McNeese and our people the realization that we can win at a high level. Our women getting an opportunity to go to an NCAA-sponsored tournament, the WBIT, and get a win on A&M's court was huge. A P4 team for us to get a win, extremely exciting. So basketball is solid, and I think we've got things moving forward. I'm very excited about football. I think our roster in football is much improved, and I do believe that we're going to have some fun this fall in the hole with the teams that we've got coming in, and I think Coach V will do an outstanding job of an exciting competitive season this upcoming year. Obviously, baseball, softball are in the mix. They compete really well in our league and contend for championships. Want to continue that kind of momentum and success. And then other sports, tennis coming off a championship, that hasn't happened in several years. Very proud of them. Potentially could return every member of that roster. So beach down in Corpus competing, they have improved over the 3 years significantly, and really excited about their opportunity for success. So, soccer, new coach in soccer and volleyball, all very young, aspiring, strong leaders. So there's no reason to think that we're not going to have opportunities to win and compete for championships, which is great.
You mentioned
And then track and field, obviously, great things happening there as well.
you mentioned having fun. Well, they spell fun, WIN. That makes things fun. All right, let's look at kind of, what do you think are the biggest areas that you guys have to grow, moving forward?
Grow. I think we're very confident in the number of programs we currently sponsor. Resources will continue to be a growth area. That nothing ever gets any cheaper. Talking to a group yesterday about rising costs. I mean, the price of gas and diesel and hotel rooms and a burger. I mean, all of that, we feel it economically. So the opportunity to have the budget that we need, we realize a lot of that will depend on us, and we've got to maximize our corporate sponsorships. We've got to encourage and sell season tickets and get people in the stands that help support that. And again, I think that you said it best. Winning is what really moves the needle. When you win, they believe in you. It's not just a vision; it's a reality. So, having established that we can win, again, we've got to continue to push for better momentum to again grow our fan base, get more people buying tickets, being willing to get involved in NIL and help in that area.
Ms. Bridget Martin, the new McNeese Athletic Director. Ms. Bridget, thanks so much for visiting with us today.
Well, thank you, Chasta, and I enjoyed it. Go Pokes!